There's definitely a lot of squishy heroes on the side of Nova Esports, but to get there and to do it safely, especially when there's like a Ghana and Mo, you're going to see Wendy hit some serious marks and just make it really difficult to kind of get into that team.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the early game's really going to dictate this one for both of these teams, because if the side of Nova Esports with the Mutsu gets ahead, and obviously the shot calling from Way Pit is going to be pretty hard to kind of try and navigate, right? I mean, if you think about it, onto the side of Twisted Minds, there is quite a few vocal kind of heroes you want to be locking down with that Cannon Blast. Is Schwanzer going to be one of them? Absolutely. But I mean, they can't really be trying to get it over to the Gen.G, obviously having the cleanse within his kit as well. So really just trying to lock down maybe the Vati, and the Schwanzer is going to be what they want to do here.
It's got to be huge, right? I mean, there's even more pressure on Clean to really perform this game because, again, the initiations have to be on point. I'm assuming that Schwanz will be going in with the Fatita back up, and then she hitting those orbs to really pull them in so that the rest of the team can just kind of blow them up. I think it's going to provide CT Boy, he's got to get that vision, be that front liner, because the rest of the lineup, not very tanky.
Yeah, not very. I mean, like I said, they're really going to be relying here on City Boy, on the Huon, right, to try and get those big AoE ultimate, the crowd control already, and then obviously use the Unending Sorrow to try and just kind of mitigate those big plays from either those freshly forged daggers, the Cannon Blast coming through here. But I did like the fact that obviously the combo between the shirt and the Schwanzer could be a really good thing that we're going to be seeing here, right? Obviously the hook on, then the silk imprint. It could be what they need to get that distance for the shirt. Yeah, the wombo combo, that's exactly what you want. But I mean, looking at this one, I think that the biggest thing for this is that CY was like, I want that redemption game with the Luna. He didn't have the greatest one going up against TT Global. He missed some ults. There was like a session where there was a team fight and they missed like 3 or so in a row, which kind of put them in a bad spot. They had that opportunity, and I know that CY really wants to bounce back in this one. I mean, is it the problem of CY here, or is it the micro play style of TT Global, right? I mean, he can't bear all that weight and responsibility on himself. I mean, that opponent right there was absolutely crazy. It was a really good series to watch, and the fact that obviously Nova Esports, for those watching at home, if they didn't see that or see any highlights, that we have one global team finally getting a round off of a KPL A.C.L. team as well. So, I mean, and this is a Group S team as well, right? Like, that's really impressive to anybody that's watching out there. The fact that that is now an attainable standard or a goal is pretty crazy for these global teams. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge level up, and they've been very impressive. But, I mean, the biggest thing about this team is that this team has stuck around for quite some time. They had a kind of underwhelming 2024. They really just, like, took their losses. They really bounced back in 2025, and dare I say, they've been the team this year. They've been almost indestructible. I mean, almost undefeated going up all the way onto TT Global at that point. So they've really made a name for themselves of just being the top dogs. They've done that with that resolve. And this is a team that's only getting better, but it's Twisted Minds able to take them down in this one. I mean, we do have to expect the unexpected here for Twisted Minds, but this is going to be game number 1 of the 3rd place matchup. So those are the Dynamos Arena, those at home, we are getting into where we are trying to get the conclusion here for that 3rd place matchup within the KWC, and it is none other than Nova Esports and Twisted Minds. And as Hall has said, Nova Esports at this point have been kind of like the top dogs within the Global Esports 2025. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Twisted Minds want to ruin their day. They want to be like, hey, we are the big dogs. We should be number 1. Put some respect on our names. They're going to try and get that respect, right? They're going to try and at least formulate some kind of win here over Nova Esports. It would definitely be the unexpected and kind of like topple the big dogs themselves, right? Like, if they were able to get 3rd place, obviously 2nd place, 1st place isn't attainable for either of these two teams, but that 3rd place could mean that, hey, next international tournament, Nova's got to watch their back. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing, right? And being able to kind of shift things into another team, and then Nova Esports, that would be heartbreaking for them. So there's a lot of, like, reputation. Obviously, there's money, prestige, all of these things. That's part of the KWC to put them in here. So this game is going to be key, and game 1 sets the tone, especially in a best of 5. In a best of 5. I mean, already in the side lanes, we're just kind of getting that kind of tit for tat between these 1v1s now that we see CY and Schwanzer, as well as Wavepit, trying to put the pressure on here to 90, but most times out of 10, obviously, in the early game, The Byron pick up against the Barty here is always going to be coming out on top right, but they just want to make sure they get a bit more dominance, a little bit more easier leeway up into that top side of the map.
Yeah, and they're actually kind of like funneling a lot of those resources, players that is, into that top lane. They want to make sure that Nighty has a rough time, and he's kind of been pushed back and has to hide under the tower.
Yeah, same respect here for the side of Twisted Minds. They're able to obviously expand the flash here from Wendy, so that's going to be troublesome, right? I mean, now that Clean has that intel, he's going to be looking for that perfect hook as we speak. The hook comes through. It gets all over the wall there. They have to be careful, but oh! The double knockout for Schwan is going to be leading a 2-0 there. I mean, that looked like it was going in favor of Twisted Minds to begin with.
That was such a great attack. I mean, understanding that the hook was potentially there, but the dash away by CUI, and then Schwan being in the perfect spot at the perfect time, that was like they knew the assault was going to happen.
Yeah, I think this is just clean, kind of like Nova Esports MO, right? They go for kills, they try and convert it into another objective. They got the Azure Golem, so obviously you can see there clean on the screen for those at home and in the stadium that Schwan is one of those heroes that needs that mana.
He needs that mana, but he also at the same time, they were trying to accelerate, get that gank and that potential, you know, first blood kill would have been huge for them, but unfortunately Nova Esports, like they totally sniffed that play out.
They sniffed it out, honestly. Like, they were able to get that great, obviously, rotation there from Schwan, but already we're seeing the City Boy, we're seeing the devastation of this Cannon Blast that can really set up and really complement Wendy on this Ganon mode.
Yeah, Waypit just sticking around. They've had the buddy system with Wendy, and again, they've been doing a lot. You had that Cannon Blast, those blades, and literally you could 0 to 100 them.
0 to 100, I mean, is CY going to try and go 0 to 100 here? We are getting a dive onto 90 as well. They're trying to get the freshly forged blades. Wendy picks up another kill.
Nice little rotation there, and again, just like the way that Wendy plays, his positioning with those blades, and just doing it from a safe spot. He's never really in danger, and yes, he's being backed up by Waypit, but Twisted Minds need to figure something out.
Oh, I mean, the feed in there, they're trying to get Waypit out. The thing inside the box is going to be the saving grace, and there it is. There's so much burst in the early game. Nova are really putting a stamp on this one.
I mean, they've had the buddy system. This entire team has just been on point. It's like, yeah, he's got the hook, but he's like, okay, perfect box. I've set you up for the rest of them. And with those blades from Wendy, the damage from Muchi coming on that rotation, just really well played by Nova here.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like a lack of intel or the fact that it was just like, can he really get that thing inside the box up if we have so much CC? But hey, there's the answer to the question for Twisted Minds. I don't think they'll be making that hoo-ha happen again.
Yeah, and Twisted Minds, like, this has got to affect their psyche in the sense that when they try to go for some sort of, you know, a siege, they constantly just get countered.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to be on that end of the counter, right? Just constantly just trying to go for these kills, trying to go for these pickoffs, and nothing just doesn't seem to be happening here. But right now, Tyrant getting taken here for the side of Nova Esports. A 3v1 dive into top side of the map. Schwan looking at the wrong side of the turret. Gets taken down here by 90. But Nova, classically, trading objectives.
Yeah, trading that one away. I mean, they're going to look to take the mid T2, the pull onto Muchi, but there's no tower.
No tower. I mean, that's really hard, right? We are 5 minutes in, Hauler. 5 minutes in, 2 T2s are going down into the, 2 turrets, sorry, into that mid lane, completely decimated here, and that 5k Goldie just about surmising here for the side of Nova Esports. What's Twisted Minds looking at here to try and make a comeback?
I mean, they need to figure something out because, like, every single gank attempt has been, like, easily defended. It's been repelled in that sense. And Nova Esports, it seems like, I mean, losing 4 games in a row against TT Global has really shaken them up, and they've been woken up, and they want that revenge story. And it seems like they're taking it out on Twisted Minds here.
They're trying to. They're at least trying to take it out on Twisted Minds. But, I mean, it's definitely apparent, right? It's really apparent here that Nova Esports, they weren't taking that loss well. They knew what they were going up against here, but right now, team fight potentially brewing up here for the side of Nova Esports. They get the flaming palms onto Shanks already. Highlang been taken down. Double kill, then Schwan with a rotation. They're still not done yet. Infinite Bats is being used here, back down to the bot, mid lane, and looking to go for the high ground turret.
I mean, they had the Silky Orb, and they pulled in Schwan, and Schwan was like, actually, you're helping me. He flashes in, gets the 2-man Storm Strike, really setting up.
Really setting up that kill there onto 90. City Boy is going to be careful. Oh, gets hit by the cannon blast. It's going to be the force field suppression come through. Gets that knock on, but then ultimately Wendy with another kill. I want to know how many kills he's got on his board at this point. But I mean, is he going to get any more? He's looking to just run this crystal down. I think, is this the quickest game within KWC? Pre-7 minutes.
That was actually crazy. Nova Esports angry, looking to go, and you could see this is a team that's just like, hey, you want to come at us with the Schwants? Fine, we're able to counter this and just continue to take towers, and they just closed out that game as quickly as possible. I think that was the fastest game.
Absolutely devastating game there for the side of Twisted Minds. But hey, I said it to you whilst we was in the casting booth, right? I mean, where's Vickery? Where is their little mascot for the side of Twisted Minds? They need him right now, because here Nova Esports taking the quickest game within KWC. Pre-7 minutes, not even one of the KPL teams has managed to actually attain that speed.
Yeah, Nova Esports, just too much at the time. I mean, they were able to play that strategy perfectly, like the synergy, the coordination, and just going into this one, every single attempt, the pull in was actually in favor of Nova Esports. They actually wanted to be in those situations.
So, hey, I can see you've already got a goal lead. Let's get that a little bit further. Let's get the alley-oop. And then they tried to do that so many times. But it was the thing you were talking about in the game, right, Hola? The buddying system of Wendy, of Way Pit, with that long-range artillery was just such great setup here for Nova Esports, which was the result of the quickest game. And we're going to quickly throw it over to Isaac.
That was fast. That was so quick. I wasn't ready for this, you know?
Blink and you'll miss it. What was that, a 6-minute game?
No, come on. It made it. It was like 6:50, not even 7 minutes. Nova Esports coming with their guns blazing. They don't want to take no notes. They want to come in and just clean sweep 3-0 and then just go home.
I have my notes here, and all my notes are, oh, Wendy is getting kills on Ganimo. Oh, he got another kill.
Yeah.
Oh, he got another kill. Oh, insta-kill on Ganimo there.
Yeah. Insane Wendy performance, right? Like, it was crazy.
And that's what we're talking about, the difference between Wendy and Hailang. Hailang picks the She, right? Playing around his team, you know, he was kind of starved for gold because he's feeding it to his team there. Whereas Wendy's like, give me all the gold, you know, takes all the gold, uses it for kills, and I couldn't even finish counting at the end there. I had to run back on stage. There were so many kills Wendy got.
It was such a great game. I'm really happy for Nova Esports. Really sad for Twisted Minds because that was not the way that they wanted to start, right? Like they had the Xuanzhe pick over there for the jungle, which is something that we don't see a lot.
Absolutely. I think the composition they were going for was the She with it, right? So they can pull back into another pullback and get people really out of position. But I really enjoyed the Motsu pick. As you see in one of the fights in the middle of the game here, maybe we'll break it down later on.
Yeah, of course.
They were flipping the Motsu and put it on their side, but he uses his box, and they actually pulled in like a pseudo bomb there. That was such a smart pickup, I think.
I loved it. I loved every single minute of that, even though it was very short. But at the end of the day, it was packed with energy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are not in here on our own. It's not only myself and Phil. We decided just to go there and invite one more of our BTK friends. Best Player One. Best Player One, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am as good as I could be right now. Come on, man. It's the grand finals day. Have you been able to be there to the arena and watch some games, or it was too fast?
Yeah, I have. And yeah, a lot of the games are fast. A lot of the games are really dominant. It's really fun to see. It's really fun to see.
How was it playing on the stage? Because you played on stage yesterday.
Yeah, playing on stage was pretty fun. The team that we went versus was pretty easy though. Maybe next time we'll have a harder opponent, you know.
Are you enjoying this whole Honor of King's journey, right? Like, come on, tell us a little bit about your experience with the game. Looking at here, like at the highlights right now. Have you ever been in a game where you're just like that, 7 minutes and then just gone?
I think that's the craziest part about HOK is that the games end extremely fast. But I think like one of the most enjoyable series that I've watched was probably Pause versus Twisted Minds. Went to game 7 and like 4 games in a row. It was like Tempest Dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's really fun to watch.
But you see, like, I love the fact that it can be or very long or very short. It's very dynamic. It's always full of action. It's always full of energy. And even if the games are like this short, it doesn't matter. People come and they just try their best just to have fun.
Something to take a note of here. We're talking about Nova here. Yesterday, they had a similar performance versus TT. They had a game where their first game, their opponents were only able to get 1 kill, right? And they won. But then, as you mentioned, they kind of burnt out, right? The star kind of burnt out. Can they keep their foot on their gas and keep it going this time?
That's something that we're gonna have to talk about in a little bit time, man, because I want to know what Best Player 1 feels about this. Come on, bro, like break it down for us. Like, what is your feeling of just seeing something third place match and then you see something like this? What do you think is, from a player standpoint, what do you think is happening?
Well, it's always nice to see teams that have already lost their chance to get number 1 still compete this hard to get number 3.
Of course.
So it's like the 6-minute game that we just witnessed was just so dominant, and they're ready for it. You know, they keep going. It's really nice to see.
If you were to give from your experience, just a tip, an advice for them, what would that advice be right now?
My advice would just be, just keep going. Just keep going.
They have to. No, they have to. They still have some more games, right? Remember, this is not the best of 1. At the end of the day, it's going to be a best of 5. They still have 2 more games just to turn things around. So I do believe that Twisted Minds still has an opportunity. For Nova Esports on the other side, as just Phil, you were mentioning, they should not do the same as yesterday. It cannot just be like a 1 first game activity and then after that just turn things.
Absolutely. They got to go ahead and keep that going here. And Best Player, looking at these drafts here, is there any characters you would like to see for Game 2? They could either be, someone that you think they could need to go ahead and get a win, or maybe just a character you like. What would you like to see going forward?
Oh, I want to hear about this.
I would love to see Mankey. I love watching Mankey.
Why that? Why is that?
Well, Mankey is personally my favorite hero, and I enjoy him a lot. And I think he's somewhat in the meta. Seeing a Mankey would be really fun for me.
That would be really cool, just to be able to see the Monkey in there, right? Like, Monkey is just such a versatile hero. It allows you just to tank some damage, and at the same time, you can use its ability just to find the back laners as well.
And it's really cute too, right? Is that a big reason you like Mankey?
Yeah, every time I play it, like if I stream HOK, all of my viewers are just like, oh, he's so cute, he's so cute. Yeah,
I hope that they're not talking about the hero and they're talking about you, man.
Nah, definitely Mankey.
You never know. You never know.
You never know. Come on, like, we are going to jump into Game 2. We need to know exactly what to do. Like, Twisted Minds needs a game plan. What didn't work in this first game, Phil?
I would say they were just really caught off guard by how fast and hard Nova strikes, right?
Yes.
Once they get going, they really get going. I was mentioning yesterday that teams could, get a little bit ahead of the KPL S-tier teams, but they're not able to maintain that lead. Why Nova was able to take a game off them is when they get that lead, they keep pushing it, they go into your jungle. There was a play where Ganemo got an insta-kill on Hai Lang in his jungle. He didn't even notice probably. Right? They keep pushing, they keep their foot on the gas, and when they're winning, you really know it.
They're going to have to do something different. And right now, Twisted Minds is going to be on the blue, and Nova Esports is going to be on the red side. What about if we toss it to the casters for them to give us a little bit more of their insights on how this Game 2 is going to work?
Thank you so much, Isaac. As we go into Game 2, Nova Esports with their foot on the gas, going full speed at Twisted Minds, and you see that car coming at you, Blam, what are you doing?
I mean, if I was Twisted Minds, I'd be dumping out the way. But I mean, that was never the case, right? They were throwing the civilians in front of the car with that Schwanzer, right? Like, that's exactly what they was doing. It's not a good look here for Twisted Minds in game number 1. But really, if we look at the draft as a whole for the side of Nova Esports from game number 1, there was a lot of expensive picks being taken there. But now we speak of expensive picks, it goes over to the side of Twisted Minds on that blue side, and they want to lock in that Dharma for 90.
Yeah, that Dharma has been the pick thus far of the tournament. Top 8, and it has 72% win rate. It's just been completely styling on people, and it looks like Twisted Minds really want to play this one for realsies.
Hopefully. I mean, they lost the party pick as well, right? So I can't really say that it was just kind of like a game 1 fluke. They definitely had something cooking there, but it just didn't have the time to get online. But speaking of getting online, we need that early into the late game. We have the early game power spike thanks to the Doomsday item, but pairing up that with the Diadem means that you take away one of those natural counters of the early and you give it over to yourself. A lot more sustain here. Maybe Nova Esports looking for some more team fight potential this time around.
Yeah, and the Diadem, yes, it has a lot of play, especially in your ranked games. I mean, it's very good with those stuns. There's a lot of control, but then you're like, Phil is actually liking this hero. And then you see the stats in the KWC thus far. it has a 39% win rate. It is actually very poor, or teams are just really attuned to understand how to counter it.
So we're no longer calling it the caster curse, it's a Phil curse. So he pointed out the Diadea pick not coming through that much. It comes through and it's not quite succeeding. But I mean, right here, Twisted Minds do get the decided counter here. The Chano up against the Ali in that lane-to-lane matchup is definitely one of the better counters when you're playing, I mean, especially when you don't have the D-Ranger as well, right?
Yes, for sure. And we're also going to see something, dare I say, this is the Xuan special of the Guan Yu. And the reason why they absolutely styled on TT Global in that first game, where they actually pulled out the victory, was because Xuan was an absolute menace on this hero.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. The thing is, he's all about, this character's all about building up his momentum bar, and then you kind of just get that kind of enhanced basic attacks, those enhanced abilities as well. So really, Guan Yu is just a hero that's all about momentum. I mean, he rides a horse, for goodness sake, right? He needs to have the momentum, he needs to have that speed. But once again, Nova Esports, second phase of the ban, looking to make sure that Clean doesn't have a clean job at trying to draft his hero here.
I mean, look at those. Nova Esports, 4 bans, all in the jungle. I think that they're like, let's make sure Clean has a bad time, or at least limit some of the heroes available. But at the same time, Nova Esports, I've kind of banned out so many that they're probably going to struggle a bit of finding somebody that, will suit this draft.
I mean, we got the Zhongfei, right? So obviously, in terms of front line, we're not looking too, bad here for the side of Twisted Minds. They have the Dharma, they have the Unbridled Outburst, so even if that Truth Mantra doesn't hit onto the back line here, or is really hard to try and catch the Ali, we're going to have the setup here, potentially from City Boy, to get the Unbridled Outburst, lock her into place, then comes through 90 with that collision.
Yeah, that team fight is definitely going to be key for him, but Nova Esports, they're going to go with the Dune, and I know that on the panel they were talking about the fact that Dune and Menki kind of have fallen off. We're not really in the tank meta anymore. It still definitely has its uses, but basically everyone else needs to really pick up the slack of the damage that was lacking as Dune got a little bit nerfed.
He got nerfed, but I mean, if we look at in terms of damage, right, and in terms of who is on the Ali at this point in the game for Nova Esports, it's going to be Muchi. Muchi on that Lung in game number 1 didn't take a single death. He was able to just get online, freely farm, get the itemization, and then get those brutal flaming palms. So I expect to see that same kind of flavor here. I mean, we do have the direct counter of the Chano, so it's up to Twisted Minds to see what they do here.
The Yukio and the Princess Frost being picked up to finalize this Twisted Minds draft. I mean, the damage from the Yukio is going to be quite on point, and you have a lot of team fight with the Dharma and Zhongfei, plus the Princess Frost to kind of add into this one. It seems like they really want to go with this team fight composition. I'm liking where their draft is thus far.
I like the Yukio pickup, but the problem is here is now that we're obviously within a best of 5, and say, for example, it doesn't go for a 3-0 here for Nova Esports, they pick up the pay, they've then got to try and find some other counter, because the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tachibana within the KWC has been one of those frightful pay counters, and now Twisted Minds are like, hey, they've banned out a lot of my heroes into the jungle, I need to find something else, and oh, we're looking at damage when we have the Dune, and it's going to be Wendy on one of his signature picks. It's going to be that Kong Ming.
Kong Min, just like the absolute menace, the mage, the downtown, ultimate, the winning strategies are going to be quite key in terms of just setting things up. If he's able to blow them up, get onto the back line. I mean, the Channel, Princess Frost, Yukio to a certain degree, kind of squishier, so you have your abilities to really just turn the team fights.
Yeah, I mean, they needed the damage, right? You can't really be relying on the Ali till the late game, because, I mean, if we're looking at what we've seen so far for Nova Esports, they ran that game down within 7 minutes, so maybe with this draft, they are looking to be a little bit more frightening. But in terms of control, it is a little bit less here. Obviously, they do have the Razor Cavalry, but that's the kind of control you want to be using into a team fight, not going for these single target pickoffs.
Yeah, and if I'm going to be the coach of Twisted Minds, I'm going to say, hey guys, we need to survive till at least 7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a progression, right? They need to make a progression. I mean, it felt too soon, because, I mean, it felt like we've just still casting game number 1.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be the first match, second game, third place decider match on this one. It's a best of 5 going into this. Of course, Nova Esports up 1-0. Can Twisted Minds bounce back here?
Can they unravel that win on game number 1 for Twisted Minds? But we just, obviously, time will tell. Let's see, obviously, where that pressure comes. Can they put the pressure onto Muchi? Because, obviously, if they can, that's going to be one of that hard guaranteed damage outputs for the side of Nova Esports.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that Twisted Minds need to do, especially from game one, is that when they're going aggressive, they're looking for that gank, they convert it. And instead of just being an absolute disaster that Nova Esports had really put the fight on. But CT Boy taking a lot of damage, he's going to limp away.
I mean, this is the current point where you want to be taking out City Boy, right? If you want to be putting the pressure onto a Zhongfei, it's pre-4 minutes. Pre-level 4, sorry. Because you don't have the Unbridled Outburst, you don't have that stacked shield come through when you use that ultimate. So at this point in the game, he's going to be able to not take a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's not going to take a lot. I mean, he's still tanky, you still have that Leaping Savior, so you can kind of work that through. But again, you really don't have too many skills, as you were rightly pointing out. So it's one of those things where he needs to worry about his positioning, ensure that he just kind of keeps his Shanks alive more than anything else in that bottom lane.
Keeping Shanks alive, obviously we are seeing two late game heroes go at it toe for toe. So we're really going to be looking here for both Twisted Minds and Nova Esports on who can get online quicker. We know, obviously, as we say in the draft, that Ali's really going to be looking for that Doomsday, and that's when that damage is going to start slowly but surely come through.
Yeah, and to Twisted Minds, another thing, they need to really focus on Wendy and Muchi. They need to figure out ways to kind of get those kills, ensure that they don't get a good early start so that they have that damage to just outscale and start taking towers like you saw in game one.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want to be doing that, right? Like, especially that mid lane. That's exactly how Nova Esports got that dub in game number 1. They completely decimated that mid lane. But for the side of Twisted Minds, they need to make sure that they are stopping Nova Esports at least converting one objective into another, because that's how they win games, right?
Yeah, they need to just slow the pace down more than anything else, right? Things got really out of control in that game one, but this is a thing where you just protect your jungle, go 50-50, try to extract as much farm on the map, especially in, on your side of the map, and then look for that play at the 3 minutes and 30-second mark right before that Tyrant.
Yeah, it's all about getting that pressure in the early game, right? So we can set up those neutral objectives. But if we're looking, obviously, between lanes right now, Muchi is ahead by about 300 gold, so we can assume that he was able to get that Phoenix down to the bot side, which only spawns once, because that is going to be that crucial kind of pockets of gold that you need to get ahead in the early game.
Yeah, it's the small wins, right? Just being able to take those, like the Firehawk is, again, the sprites in the top right here. It looks like Twisted Minds have rotated and are looking to just ensure that Clean picks this one up.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of adjustment here. Obviously, Muchi actually going for the Sparkforged Dagger here first. So the thing about Chano is that obviously he's going to be able to kind of use that vaulting shot to get away. So what you're really going to be needing to get that is that electrifying hit from that Sparkforged Dagger, making that poke potential a little bit more harder here for Shanks to actually try and formulate around.
Yeah, and one thing also to take note of is that leader stance. Those wolves can be really annoying. They can really get on top of you. Muchi's very good in terms of the single target damage, but CT Boy getting gone on here by CY. They're putting the aggression on.
Putting the aggression on, but it's at level 4, right? I was mentioning it earlier. They are now at level 4 for City Boy. He has the Unbridled Outburst. He has that Rage Bar build, but I feel like if they were able to draw that from Twisted Minds, it would have been detrimental at that neutral objective team fight.
And look at how Xuan is in the top lane. He's all by himself. He needs to just ensure that the lane is pushing. He's going to make the rotation. The Tyrant is going to now spawn. This could be a potential for Nova Esports to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing here. They're going to procure that Assure Golem first for the side of Nova Esports, trying to get that CC down, cool reduction down for the side of CY, trying to bait it out of the pit so we can't get any dives on here. City Boy waiting in the wind.
Waiting, not going to go for it. He did have Smite if he wanted to go and his ult, but he doesn't want to risk it at this stage. You don't want to give up first blood, but Nova will take that one.
I mean, more importantly, you don't want to give up another game that's going to be 6 minutes, right? If they took a bad team fight there, it would have been scary, but Wave Pit actually mitigated that Unbridled Outburst.
And now they want revenge. Wendy looking to go in for this one, but I don't think they're going to get much out of this rotation here.
Not much. I mean, we've seen here Clean with 90 with the rotation here, going in with the dive. They are looking just to keep Nova on a leash.
Yeah, it looks like the nice little Razor Cavalry. They find him. They get the knock up. They get Clean. First blood going the way of Wendy, making a double as they go on top of 90, and they want to get even more. Xuan, this is why he's so good on the Guan Yu.
Just like how I like my espressos, right? I like a double shot come through, but they're looking for a triple shot. They're awake this morning.
Not scared at all, but a high log just barely surviving. Waypit gets stuck out. Soaring signal onto Shanks. He gets the snipe and the return kill.
The return kill. I mean, they're able to draw it 2-2, but look what Nova's done again. They gave them the key into that mid lane, taking the T1 down. This is not what you want to be doing here. Twisted Mind's like, yes, we got 2 kills on the board.
Yeah.
But really, they're like, guys, where's our T1 gone?
Yeah, it's gone at this point. No real chance at this point. But again, it was more about Schwan with those plays.
Yeah, I mean, here's the replay here. I mean, there was a lot of commitment. And to be honest, we are seeing here that Shank's high link was able to try and get out of there with very little health.
Yeah, very little indeed. Not really able to go. But again, just setting it up, just being able to get a couple kills. Yeah, they probably dove a little too far. That winter is here. It was just like way too cold for them. Nova, 2 members go down. But again, it was all about the towers more than anything else.
Yeah, again, just Nova Esports converting those objectives over and over again. But City Boy does have the implied layer burst. He doesn't actually catch onto anybody.
The
so
win slash will, they go right onto Hylong. He's a little bit low. He's going to get barely out of this one. But CT Boy with that rally form, it looks like they want to go for this. They're going to go in top of this. They're going to chase down. They find Waypit. They're not letting anyone go.
I mean, that was an overcommitment there by obviously Waypit and CY, right? They swung in and it was kind of like, guys, can somebody actually bail me out of this one? Because they weren't able to get out because of that clean rotation from 90.
Yeah, CY just way too far. Yes, they're being aggressive, but it almost seems like they're being a little impatient with some of these fights.
Patience is a virtue, and I mean, Twisted Minds, after that game number 1, they're like, you know what, we're not virtuous, we are just looking for some aggression here.
The Soaring Green Dragon right onto it. Nighty trying to flash away, but Schwan now in a bad spot. He's going to walk into the winner is here. Needs to be careful. The Overlord had been picked up by Muchi.
Yeah, the flash being expanded here by A.L. That could be troublesome, right? Like, he could now get picked off. He's going to be a bit of a sit-in duck, especially with his ultimate being expanded there also. So, Intel over to Nova. If they've caught that, it could be crucial.
Yeah, and look at this. About a 1K net worth lead in favor of Nova Esports. Yes, they've been aggressive, but it's almost like they're throwing bodies at the problem, trying to solve this one, and it's not really going in their favor at times because Twisted Minds, they have the right counterpunch.
Yeah, they're throwing smoke at this point. It's like hoping it's like, hey, can they guys, can we see that fist? Can we get through this into the team fight? Maybe that's going to be the point here. Or maybe Twisted Minds have that clear through the smoke.
Yeah, and they're going to look to just hold this defensively, ensure that the T2s are staying alive. They're going to continue to farm here, but the Azure Golem about to get going on.
I mean, they don't want to lose at this point, right? Twisted Minds, obviously clean, kind of needs that one with a cold air reduction come through, but they're like, hey, we're going to try and bait out the Azure Golem, then take the T2, because the Vanguard coming through, and none of the side of Twisted Minds was even trying to answer that call.
Yeah, CY actually didn't have the smite on that one, but Clean had to expend it to ensure that he gets it. You were talking about the blue buff being ever so key on the Yukio is going to be important. He secures it.
He does get it. I mean, that's the consolation prize that he needs, right? I mean, you don't want to lose your Azure Golem and your T2, because at that point, it's kind of like, guys, we need to reset. But down to the bot side, Muchi did a great effort there. That turret, that T1, looking like it's holding on with very little health.
Yeah, not really much at all. It's like literally all black at this point. But the Tyrant is going to be picked up here. Nova Esports, with all the space, going to take advantage of this map control, and they take yet another turret. Tyrant.
Do you think if I blow on the screen, I'll give the advantage over to Twisted Minds and it takes down the turret?
Let's not do it, just in case it might go down.
No outside interference. I get it. We're being completely non-biased here. But no, if we're looking between these both two teams, I do have to say, even though the Gorge doesn't look as pretty, still, game number 1, it's not looking too good.
Not good at all, but he's going for the truth. Oh, but Muchi with a light step away, he sidesteps it, and Nighty gets taken out.
Yeah, Wendy with the shimmy into the winning strategy there. That's going to get the takedown onto Nighty, which is pretty much a problem here.
Oh, but Clean going all in. He gets the burst, finds Muchi, and now here's even more Twisted Minds. Can they get anywhere else? No.
No, they're going to settle that one, right? They taking up Muchi off the board means that obviously at least 1 out of 2 of their damage potentials has been taken off for at least 10 to 15 seconds now.
Look at Wendy with his 40k damage. He's been just like on point in terms of just making it very uncomfortable for Clean, Hylong, and Shanks to even get anything going. I mean, his burst, and this is why he's like an absolute maestro on this hero.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see obviously the core is obviously Wendy and Muchi within this team composition because you saw there the gold is funneling in both of those, and that's what you really want. You want to get that damage online earlier, and we're seeing it with both these two picks. They just got to make sure they're not making mistakes like they did into that top side of the map.
Yeah, they don't want to get caught out. That's like the biggest thing. I mean, if Nighty finds you, you're grouped up and you're all together, he's going to make it a bad time in that sense with that flash truth. But again, the Shadow Tyrant is going to be picked up. It looks like Twisted Minds are going to take the Overlord at the same time.
Yeah, a bit of a spread for these neutral objectives. We are actually having a bit of a progress here for Twisted Minds. They made it into the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, congrats to them. But the Overlord and Tyrant picked up as well. But it looks like they've gotten Shanks and Eilang, and they want to get more. Xuan with a perfect angle, looking to push back CT Boy. Has a rogue charge. He will be chopped down.
I mean, the Unbridled Outburst, we have to say, it whiffed there, unfortunately, for the side of Twisted Minds. If they were able to land that, it would have been a problem. But now they approach the T3 into the mid lane, looking to take that down, get those empowered minions.
Yeah, the base is wide open. They have all 5 members. Nova Esports looking to close this game 2 out. They're doing some serious damage. They have the wind slashes. They're going to pad the KDAs. They take out Nighty and Clean, and it looks like they're going to take game 2 in a matter of time. All they need to do is wait for the minions. They're going to back off as they see that Shanks and Shylong, though, have respawned.
They've respawned, and they're a bit of a saving grace, right? They have the Shadow Vanguard if they really want to put it down into that mid lane, or are they going to salvage one of these side lanes? But no, it's not looking too good here for Twisted Minds in this game number 2, but they still have a comeback potential. They have 2 T2s. Let's make that now 1. We've now taken that away. That was a quick rate of interest there for Twisted Minds, but now here we look at City Boy. He gets dived in on. He's already used the Unbridled Outburst. He has no means of getting out of that team fight.
Yeah, no chance at that point. I mean, once the initial pickoffs were happening with Shanks down, it was going to be really tough for them to make any sort of progress into this. They had to have retreated, but with those Vanguards and the wave clear on the minions, again, just a small lifeline at this stage.
Again, a Hail Mary for them, like you're saying there, Holder. They're going to be trying to kind of like combat this at the Crystal. You can kind of see the replay still on the board, but overall, as the live footage comes through here, Twisted Minds has managed to salvage those higher ground turrets. Maybe able to keep onto that T2 down to the bot side for now, but that's really going to be the opening here for Nova Esports.
Yeah, I mean, they have a 7K net worth lead. Like, they have so many openings. As long as they don't, like, just sacrifice themselves and just kind of, you know, get out of position. But look at how they're grouped up. And again, these slow sieges are just really on point for Nova Esports. Very clean.
Yeah, they kind of are having to play at this base, right? Twisted Minds, if they step over, they're going to get punished either by Xuan on the Guan Yu, dived on by CY, and then even Wei Pei. He's been very aggressive on this Diadea.
Yeah, as he needs to be, right? I think that a good Diadea hero or player will be able to be aggressive, understanding when you need to go in, and he's always had Muchi, so when he needs to connect and heal him, you have that life step to get out of jail.
Yeah, the lifelink is going to be a great sign here for the side of Nova Esports. Obviously, Destiny Counter use that to push them away, Twisted Minds from that T3. The Winter is here is going to wipe out those minions, so they have exhausted a great team fight potential here for the side of Twisted Minds.
It's all about slowing the pace of the game down. Use whatever you can to wave clear. Ensure that those towers are not taking any damage, especially with those minions. It's got to be key for them. Twisted Minds need a little bit more time, and you're thinking, but you know, Nova Esports can kind of just slowly choke them out. Yes, but at the same time, some of the guys from Twisted Minds can get some of that farm and to potentially win this next team fight with some of those towers.
Yeah, we speak about time, but obviously now Highlang does have that Winter is here back online again, obviously using the Fridge Prison to try and take out these minions, keep them frozen in place whilst the rest of the team just does the damage and clears out that minion wave. But if we're looking realistically here, Nova Esports at the 13-minute mark, slowly approaching that 14-minute mark, they're looking at around about an 8K goal lead, right? That's going to take some heck of a team fight, some great micro playstyle from the side of Twisted Minds to navigate such a team fight that's going to get them back onto the gorge.
Yeah, but at the same time, Twisted Minds, if you go out of your base and somebody gets caught out and then Nova has that man advantage, they're just going to take you down. So you have to be careful with how you approach, but it looks like they're going to give up a Shadow Tyrant for free yet again to Nova.
Yeah. Not only is the man advantage that potentially could come through if Twisted Minds does overstep, they now have the Shadow Tyrant, and they're looking potentially here to go for the Shadow Overlord. Maybe try and bait Twisted Minds to say, hey, look, you've got the minion waves pushed halfway. Are you going to come and try and test us?
Yeah, they're so far up, you know, at this point, and Xuan still up there providing that vision. If anybody wants to come in the neighborhood, they're going to be in a world of hurt, or Nova Esports actually realize that, and the alarm bells will sound.
Yeah, he's the toll man. You've got to pay Xuan to get out of your base if you are daring enough to. So you can see on that mini-map, he has been down to the bot side of the map because obviously we don't really need the Guan Yu into those neutral objective pits. hits to make it sure it's a secure objective. They have the damage from Muchi, they have the damage from Wendy.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like it's pressure from all 3 lanes. Where are you going to go? And Twisted Minds, I mean, they can find CY, but he's just so tanky, they really can't deal with him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're going to dive onto somebody, you're not really going to be trying to commit all your exhaustions to trying to get to take down on CY.
Yeah, all T3s are taken. The base wide open at this stage. Nova Esports looking for the right angle. The winning strategy is going to be connected. CY going in. He has that Blood Rage. The Wind Slash is going to be a little off the mark, but the Frigid Prison, and they're locking him in. Here comes the Umbrella Outburst. Schwan looking for that perfect rear attack. He's not able to find it, and he finds Nighty. The Stampede on forward. CT Boy just trying to take it out, but Hailong is going to be the first to fall. Schwan, though, is continuing on, and they have that damage. They find CT Boy, and Nova Esports will take game 2.
Game 2, not as clean as game number 1, but it's going to be Nova Esports with the 2-0, which, again, like I was saying, Twisted Minds definitely had a little bit more of a tit for tat with that one. They weren't able to get that bot side T1 after all, even though it was barely holding on for its dear life. And like I said, hey, maybe I should have blown on the screen hauler just to give them the extra little bit of gold, a little bit more leeway down to that side lane.
All right, you can't cheat for them, okay? That's not fair. That's not fair. And but I mean, at this point, Twisted Minds need all the help they can get, right? I mean, you saw it in the game when they were playing against AG.AL. They actually like threw out some flies to attack Yunua in real life. Unfortunately, that didn't pay off as well. But Twisted Minds, again, they need some way to kind of bounce back in this series.
Use some kind of jutsu to summon flies, and he was like, whoa, whoa, get away from me. What's this? And finally got a kill on him, but still wasn't enough to actually get the takedown. But yeah, Twisted Minds here, they need to make sure that they're drafting a lot better, right? But it's the fact that Clean is being so targeted in that ban phase. It's scary. He has to resource to the Yu-Gi-Oh! He has to resort to the Schwanze. Not saying that these are bad heroes, but into the team comp, in what they need to provide in terms of frontline and damage, they aren't the ones.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to disagree with you. I do think that the Schwanze is not that good. I think going into this one, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, it was more of a niche pick and more of a counter pick more than anything else. But I do totally agree with the fact that, yeah, Nova Esports are like, Clean is the guy. We're going to lock him down. But again, that's just our opinion. Let's see what the desk has to say about game 2 here.
Nova Esports showing that they should be in that grand final. They're showing that they're in a completely different league of their own, and Twisted Minds is unable to answer to any of the questions that Nova Esports is putting out there. That Guan Yu, a top pick, it was yesterday a great performance, comes in today, a same exact thing. What is going on?
Every single time you see Juan on the Guan Yu, he has some of the craziest levels of impact I've seen. There was a fight in the mid game I saw where he solo disrupted the entire enemy team while they're doing Overlord and let their Arlie go ahead and sneak it over. It's just he has so much impact, whether it's fighting, disrupting, right, and doing all that. And I didn't even mention Wendy yet. Oh my God, Wendy, once again, call me the CEO of the Wendy fan club here, all right? Wendy on the Kong Ming here, another insane performance. The damage numbers we're going to show up here shortly. You're going to see a really, really big number here on the Ko Ming. And something interesting to know here, on HOK Camp, you can go ahead and search characters, right? You can search them by win rate, and you can search them by damage. And how Wendy goes ahead and decides his next pick is he goes to damage dealt per game, and he sorts them highest to lowest. Number 1, Ganon mode.
And
Number 2,
like, give me
Ko
that.
Ming. Yep, and he just picks those characters.
I mean, absolutely. One thing that I would say, I like to give phrases to each match.
Yeah, yes, you do. We have realized that, mate. We have realized.
Last game, I would say it's over your head for Team Nova, actually. And in fact, they're so over their head. It's like the head is like a dot, and the horizon's so far away you can't even see it anymore. Because they're so chaotic. Team fight is so chaotic. You feel like everyone's all over the place. There's certain kills that shouldn't have been chased. But on the other side, I mean, to your point, Isaac, what is going on? Twisted Minds draft in this game. I mean, I got this whole draft analysis paper right here.
Yes, you do.
Like,
I'm sad that people at home cannot see it. It's like piles and piles of paper going on in here.
We have paging. We have all the top tier jungle options.
Yeah.
And then, yet we were going for the options that I didn't even write on the paper.
I think Twisted Minds here is making a little bit of misstep on the draft. It is a best of 5. You gotta put your best foot forward.
That's it. Yeah.
You can't be worried about running out of gas. You're at match point already.
That shouldn't be happening. It should not be a 2-0 because I'm telling you right now, the pressure is on. Before, when we talked about it, it was like, it's a best of 5. It's all right. You can come in and then you can enjoy a little bit of the match and it's going to be nice. But right now, 2-0, like the pressure is back on, and this is not supposed to be like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is match point already for Team Nova. Team Nova has played with a lot of momentum today. They're going for the 3rd place for sure, but Twisted Mind is known to be resilient.
Yes.
They're known to play from behind. So, although the first 2 games, as I would say interesting as it was, there's still 3 more games to go if they seize this opportunity.
Absolutely. The drafts for Nova were extremely aggressive and very, similar to their playstyle. They want to get the first early wins and ride that momentum. So they had some expensive drafts here. Now, this is a very dangerous game Twisted Minds is playing here,
Yes.
They were kind of pulling a little bit of punches, using some stuff like the Okio jungle here. Whereas now, going into these latter games, they have a lot of strong options available. If they play their cards right, they might be able to turn this around.
I hope that they will, because we do not want this to finish in a 3-0. I know that we want this just to last as long as possible. It's our last day of the KWC 2025. Please give us some more minutes of action, please. But you know what? Let's take a little break in here. Let's give Twisted Mind some time for them to realize what the plan is going to be. And after the break, we'll be back and we'll keep it breaking it for you.
Level up your gaming experience with over 8 billion playlists, only on Spotify, the official audio streaming partner for the 2025 Esports World Cup.
This land is calling.
Let's go, boys. All together. Twisted Minds, Twisted Minds, Twisted Minds, Twisted Minds. All right, come on, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be game 3 of this best of 5. We are trying to go all the way. Please, 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 please. We have so much respect for Nova Esports, man. Like, we love Nova Esports. But at the same time, we love all the fans that flew all the way here to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and they want to see a little bit more. It's not about just seeing Nova losing. It's about just giving the players and giving the people over there just one more game and another one and another one. I'm fine with working the whole day. You know what? I'm fine just doing 8-9 hours. I'm cool as long as we have one more game, please.
If there was a time to launch a counterattack, now would be it. Twisted Minds has a lot of solid picks left available. We've seen Nova specifically targeting Clean in particular.
Of course.
We have 4 jungle bans. They've seen what he has done yesterday in the match versus AG there, and they do not want to replicate that.
They don't want him to have a clean performance, right?
Absolutely. We want to see Twisted Minds here go ahead and see if they can draft around Clean, and if they can't, maybe give a powerful pick over to some of the other members on their team. Knightley, give Knightley a strong pick here. Shanks, but this is do or die match point for them now.
You know what, Phil? Why don't you just toss it to the casters? Go ahead, give it a try.
I think it is Hauler and Blam, right? Hauler and Blam, take it away.
Thank you, CEO of Phil and the Guan Yu pick. Throwing it over there. I mean, he's getting more experience every day, right? Like, Isaac's just giving him too much power. I think this could be a crazier turn of events if he gets too much power here. But we are going to get into match point potentially here between Nova Esports and Twisted Minds. Hauler, what do Twisted Minds need to do?
Well, the biggest thing they need to do is work on their trash talk. You're looking at the Honor of Kings global page. I saw Hailong putting up a 0-3.
Oh.
And this is obviously right before they did the walk-in, and the teams were definitely, for Nova 0, Twisted Minds 3, but he might have gotten those teams reversed.
Maybe he was looking in the mirror. He's a
little confused.
He got it around. Yeah, exactly. But hey, we love the confidence here from Twisted Minds. Maybe they can get a point onto the board, but we are looking here at Nova Esports. Prio blue pick going over to Wendy, the Mai Shiranui. He's had one big pick already. The Kong Ming, one of his carries. He's now got another.
Yeah, Wendy's just like an absolute all-star in that mid lane, and there's a reason why Nova Esports are so good. It's just that they've kind of revolved around his play. Literally one of the best Mai players on the global stage. This is a guy that, again, you need to be very careful about, and you need the proper counters to deal with this because you're going to be constantly pressured, especially in that early game.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we're seeing Twisted Minds Hailang gets the Yixing pick. Obviously, the analyst desk was talking about this all day at the beginning part of the broadcast, and we're going to be seeing some boards being placed down. Maybe trying to catch out here the Mai Shiranui. Maybe just trying to make sure that Twisted Minds plays on their grounds. But with the Lung here, we are going to be getting some burst damage come through. That late game cash-in potential here for the side of Twisted Minds Shanks.
Yeah, and they're countering Nova Esports, that is. The Lung pick exactly how Twisted Minds did when they picked the Lung, and they've gone with this Chano Zhangfei combination. It has that combination in terms of like the damage and the control, things that you need to have a really good team fight.
Yeah, I mean, you can see here already, Clean's like, lads, you've got to let me have third pick because I've been absolutely abused in the banning phase. And I mean, they get the Ogren, they ban out the Musashi, CY having a dominant performance on the Musashi, but more importantly, the Musashi being one of the better counters, as well as the Agudo here as well for the Ogren.
Yeah, and the Ogren has been, this is pretty much it for Twisted Minds. Backs on the wall, elimination game for that third place, extra 110,000 would be huge for this team. They would have a 310,000 USD for winning third place, would be massive for them. But this is the lineup. If they're going to win any game, this is it, at least looking at this first 3 picks.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking very strong, right? I mean, persistently within the series, Twisted Minds have really been kind of going for the not so cleanest of drafts. They have expanded some expensive picks, but so has Nova Esports, right? I mean, their first game draft was very expensive. Their second game draft was also expensive in terms of comfort picks onto Wendy with the Ming. So really, Nova Esports, in their big interest, needs to run this out in a 3-0, because if they keep going at this pace, it's going to be harder and harder for them to draft into the latter part of the series.
Yeah, the reverse sweep, Twisted Minds. I think the fans out there need to start sending them your energy. Let them get going. Because again, all it takes is just one more game, as the panel was saying, but it can really snowball into many.
It can snowball into many. Exactly. Momentum has been such a crazy effect within the KWC. We've seen teams go all the way from day one of group stage, go all the way down to the lower brackets, climb into the lower brackets. Twisted Minds is one of those success stories. But best player with the best prediction predicts the Monkey coming through here for the side of CY. So they really need a little bit more access into the backline, especially trying to catch out Yixing, especially trying to get on top of Lung, maybe trying to expand that infinite vastness earlier than they were really hoping for, but also backline access. This Fatih pick here.
Yeah, the Fatih and Monkey, just a nice little 1-2 combination, solidifying that top lane, very tanky and things, and it just adds on to what the Zhangfei wants to do. You know you have that damage from the Mai and the Chano, so you're just going to be able to find the right moments, but are they able to kind of use these two guys to really kind of, you know, put Ogren in a bad spot where he doesn't really want to engage at times?
Oh, okay, CEO Phil gets his pick come through again. The Guan Yu here goes over to the side of Twisted Minds this time, but I really want to give a bit of a highlight here to Monkey. I don't feel like we give this hero enough shine, especially for those new at home, right? Like, they don't probably necessarily see, oh, it's quite a cute looking pick. Surely that cannot have devastating an impact onto my enemy team. But let me tell you, as a Monkey main, it is definitely one of the most devastating picks, especially in terms of that tank meta that we were talking about earlier. Yes, obviously within competitive, the assassins rule the gorge, but in ranked, you can still pick a tank pick into the jungle and it's still going to be able to kind of create success. I mean, me and Phil was watching Eric in the crowd of the AG.AL game, and he would pick the Monkey and he cleaned up shop.
Yeah, it was just actually very good on the Mickey. He was kind of flexing on that one, doing a great job with that hero. I mean, the amount of control that you can provide, but you do need damage. That's the biggest thing, is that, you know, the support here from the Mai and the Chano gonna be key. It's gonna come up to Wendy and Muchi. Again, we've seen this already in 2 games where they've been able to kind of get that farm. They've been able to do that damage, and Twisted Minds know that going into game 3, they need to stop them.
They need to stop that, and they also need to stop the devastation of Nova Esports. At match point, can Twisted Minds turn this all around? Those at the Amazon Arena, let's hear a gyro for both of these teams as we get into game number 3.
Twisted Minds here need to be aggressive early, try to set the tone. They haven't really been lucky in terms of getting these like first bloods and kind of being aggressive when they need to. They tried in game 1 and unfortunately they fell flat on their faces, but this is one where, again, everything on the line, you gotta go for it.
You gotta go for it. But I mean, I don't want to say it here, but Nova Esports, we've seen from obviously the KPL teams, when they get to that last match of the series, they go hard, right? So I'm really hoping here, for the sake of Twisted Minds, that is not going to be the case.
But you're the KMW, you know, caster. You should be the believer in them. You should be like pumping them up. You should be all about this Twisted Minds lineup.
They forgot the MVP. Victory is not on the board. It's not on the stage. I mean, you can't have a team and give the hype over to Twisted Minds if they're not fully suited within their unit.
Yeah, but I do think that this draft is going to be better for Twisted Minds. This is definitely something that they're comfortable with. Clean on this Ogren. This is the moment. Yes, he's been targeted in terms of the bans and the drafts and all that, but this is the time where you need to really pick up the team.
Yeah, I mean, you can already see here, obviously Clean was able to actually maintain an XP lead here over to CY, hence the help and the rotation here from Wendy, because one of the things about Monkey, yes, obviously, like I said, he can be tanky, they can be tanky into the game, but in the early game, they're clear is not as fast as an Ogre.
Yeah, not as fast, unfortunately, but he just needs to stay alive. Let the rest of your team do that damage.
The one weak spot of obviously the Monkey as well for those at home is kind of just having that consistent damage going on to him. Some high pressure, some high intake of damage is what's going to be able to take out CY onto this pick, but you're really going to be spamming that first skill, right? Making sure that shield is stacked so you can have a great team fight. But speaking of team fight here, Schwan getting picked up here. There's too much CC, and first blood goes over to Twisted Minds.
Yeah, Schwan was just like on a leisurely stroll in the river, and the mean old Twisted Minds have found him, caught him out 3-on-1 advantage as well, and Schwan, unfortunately, he's going to give up first blood there.
he was having a leisurely time, right? I mean, they definitely took a bit of a misuse over him there into that river. I mean, definitely a brutal one here, but maybe trying to get a payback here. Shanks looking pretty low, but he is level 4. He has the infinite vastness, and the board being committed here. Is he going to turn the tide here for Twisted Minds? Oh my goodness! The vaulted shot into the back line takes down City Boy.
Yeah, he gets that one soaring signal just right on top. CT Boy thought he was fine. He actually flashed away. He was going to be in a great spot, but that brush just not enough. Just enough vision to get that one final shot. Muchi just gets that snipe.
That's the clean thing about the Chano as well, right? Like, as soon as that shot is literally, like, programmed onto that hero, it's not giving up. It's going in like a homing missile and gets the pick up there. So they really were like, hey, you could take out Schwan, but we're going to take out City Boy, which within that bot side of the map, we're really looking at sustained capability here for Twisted Minds.
Yeah, if anyone's going to go down, though, you probably want the roamer to go, so it's not the worst thing. Shanks is still there in the bottom lane, continuing to farm. He needs to keep on pace. He needs to step up this game because they really need some damage to help supplement what Clean is bringing.
Clean is bringing, obviously, the terms of the aggression here, trying to maintain that gold lead into somewhat of a margin here between both Nova Esports and Twisted Minds. It's really going to be the key here. So if he gets taken off, it's going to be scary. But Wendy flipping around the gorge here, trying to get the pick up onto Highlang. He commits the board. No one gets catch other than Wave Pit. And now the passive has been expanded here by the side of Twisted Minds. Unbridled Outburst is going to be able to catch 2. Can they catch Shanks? He has the infinite vastness.
I mean, CT Boy with a Mulberry power right onto CY, just barely able to just keep enough stuns for Highlang.
Oh, 90 here to the back line, trying to completely upset the tempo here of the team fight. Dream Roam used defensively, gets CY out of that one. Really good disengage.
Oh, what a great team fight right there. I mean, everybody was throwing out all their spells, but understanding and just trying to navigate the other one and getting to safety, absolutely huge for CY here.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to be even huge is obviously trying to get the takedown of this Tyrant into the first part of the game of this number 3, right? Like, if they are able to get that extra bit of damage, not quite as clean as they would normally like it to be, because they have reset that Tyrant that was really kind of anticipated, potentially Twisted Minds going for a good team fight.
Yeah, just a great attempt here, but it looks like Highlang has to flash.
Has to flash, gets out of the board, but now Highlang's a little bit too deep into it. The Mulberry power is going to be enough to get him out alive. Obviously, healing from those Fireflies, but also the dodge out of that CC is what was going to be that enough to kind of push away Nova Esports.
Yeah, Muchi was waiting the brush, wanted somebody to kind of just make their way closer so that he could get the snipe shot, but then Clean showed up and Muchi was like, no, we got to get out of here. He's the actual nightmare that we need to get away from. We need to stay alive. But CT Boy, his Mulberry powers have actually been quite successful, and he's had some great disruption with that.
I mean, this is the whole point of obviously the Sekiro, right? Using that first skill to just kind of completely disrupt the flow of the enemy team. But speaking of nightmares, we saw there that CY built the Blazing Cape, which is now going to be the anti-heal item into those team fights. It's going to stop the sustainability of the Ogryn, stop the healing, and reduce the healing of City Boy.
Yeah, just limit what Clean brings to the table as much as possible. But Twisted Mind's doing a great job. Looks like they're going to secure the first Tyrant here.
Big pick up for the Tyrant, right? I mean, I think this is like, I feel like it's Twisted Mind's first Tyrant of the series. We're able to get the pick up there. So now the extra bit of damage for the next 75 seconds. Nova Esports, are they going to go for obviously pressure into the top side of the map we can see here from Schwan, or are they going to be able to kind of get that micro play ability into these team fights and then mitigate a lot of those damaging skills?
You can see how the play style of Twisted Minds has really changed. They've been way more aggressive. Yeah, taking that first neutral was huge for them.
Oh, okay, yep, the Unbridled Outburst catches on to 3. The Leaping Savior onto City Boy. He gets taken down. 90 tries to come in with a save, pushes away Nova, but they have the foot on the gas. They're pushing past that T1, waiting for that minion wave to come crashing through here.
CT Boy, the only one to have fallen yet again. I mean, yes, there's 2 kills to Nova's name, but they've gone directly for CT Boy. Again, not the worst thing for Twisted Minds. It's just a roam lives, and yes, they do matter, but I mean, it's better him than anyone else. Everyone else was on a sliver of life.
That felt really weird for you to, that felt really hard to hear that, right? I mean, as a Pinky, I was like, Hall is a roam main, and he's committed that they're not actually matters, but then he brings it back around. It makes sense. I mean, I feel like normality has been brought back into my life here. A little bit of a contention there for the Crimson Golem, but it does go over to the side of Nova Esports.
I mean, they're taking everything, right?
Yeah.
When you have that lead, you want to just continue to put the pressure on, take advantage advantage of the map control that you can provide, like being able to stick it through. And look at how Twisted Minds have to react. They're down about 2K. This is not something that is insurmountable to this team.
Yeah.
But again, they've been losing throughout this entire series. They really need to get something to kind of get this team really started.
I feel like if Twisted Minds can keep this game going, if they can stall and get Shanks online with a Lung, it could be trouble here for the side of Nova Esports. But once again, another fantastic on-bridle airburst into the backline. Board being committed there is going to be enough to keep out Hai Lang. He does get that passive stack and off. He is keeping there because of that invincibility, going back to base, trying to formulate some more health before we go for another team fight here, potentially.
Hai Lang is just barely hung on multiple times already, and he's like playing with fire in that sense. But Nighty,
speaking of playing with fire, Nighty is definitely playing with fire. He was caught into the backline there, tries to push Nova Esports, tries to find that defining angle to get them into that T2 turret to take the damage out from there, but just wasn't quite clean enough. He was stuck in there with them, not the other way around.
Yeah, he was not able to find that right angle, and it was a little aggressive in that sense. I mean, if you go in, you got to just, ensure that you get the push off. You just got to go for it at that point, and he kind of was looking, he was like holding it even longer, the Razor Cavalry at that point, and he paid with his sins.
He paid for his sins indeed. I mean, right now, in terms of the Gorge domination, Twisted Minds actually be able to put a bit of pressure into the top side of the map, but it was thanks to obviously Schwan that was pushing that T1 as well and mitigated that, but it's that detrimental mid lane holder. It's been taken down once again.
It's been taken down quite a lot. Hai Lang has always been defensively just like pushed back. Wendy's been very aggressive, and he's, again, why he excels on this hero is providing that damage and that burst. And Twisted Minds have really no answers. They need a little bit more time for Clean to get some of that farm.
Yeah, again, they need to get, obviously, itemization through here. You can kind of see that, regardless, Clean is actually ahead of CY in the jungle, because you can kind of see that that's where it's all funneling into. If it's not going into Shanks, it's going into Clean. Blazing Cape's build. I had the Phoenix build here. So they have the HP regen, they have the anti-heal properties from the Blazing Cape. So really, we're going to be looking at maybe potentially being the Blood Rage being that third item.
Yeah, and look at how Nova Esports are moving across the map. Yeah, they're not really looking to engage, but by threatening certain positions, even with Waypit providing that vision, it's pushing Twisted Minds back. This is opening up space. The top T2 already been taken down. This is perfectly playing in the hands of Nova Esports.
It is, but I want to revisit that point that I was making, right? That if we can get Twisted Minds to stall, they can then get the City Boy Shanks online. But you can kind of see here, he's gone for that very expensive itemization. He's completely skipped the Meteor, completely skipped the Axe of Torment. He's gone for the Siegebreaker. He's gone for the Eternity Blade, and even the Sky Piercer, the second tier item of the Daybreaker. So trying to get that itemization, that damage online early, could be potentially a way in for Twisted Minds.
Yeah, they need whatever they can do. I mean, it might not be the most conventional, but just getting those right items, because they need to fight now, right? They don't really have a whole lot more time. The first Shadow Tyrant was picked up by Nova Esports, and now they're taking the Crimson buff away from you. It's going to be a tough situation for Twisted Minds to hold here.
Yeah, they're just kind of taking all the resources, like you were saying earlier, Holep. I mean, they have access to it. It'd be silly for them, Nova Esports, to not do that. They have the golden ticket. They need to cash it in and keep getting and putting that pressure onto the side of Twisted Minds. But right now, that T3 in the mid lane needs a little bit of defending here from Twisted Minds.
You got to deal with those minions. You got to figure out some way to just slow it down. It's all about that breathing space at this point. But Nova Esports, look at how they've been pushing. And the Clean, yeah, he's up in front, but he's kind of playing scared.
He's playing very scared. I mean, I would, right? I mean, definitely the damage output, the DPS from the side of Nova Esports is definitely something, even if I was an Ogre, and I'd be like, lads, we got to kind of play this one a little bit more micro.
Yeah, more micro indeed. I mean, Clean here, finding CY.
Oh, no, that's not what we wanted. That's not what we wanted. We wanted Shanks to come out on top of that one, but it was Muchi with the soaring shot that got the kill there onto Shanks. Got the T3 into the mid lane. You can kind of see here, Clean just trying to clean up these minion waves once again.
The movement, the positioning, just how up front they are. It's suffocating for Twisted Minds to find any sort of jump in.
Oh, the jump in, as you called it there, Ola. The Wendy into the backline with the contussions, with the knockups, thanks to that unbridled outburst as well, pushing City Boy and Clean back into the base as the minion waves come through. Game 3, third place is winning it up. Supernova!
Just really well played there. Perfect game, a perfect series. Exactly what you expected from the MKL champions. And going into against Twisted Minds, who was like upsetting a lot of the other teams, but they just had no answers. Nova Esports are on another level.
I mean, after taking that win from TT Global, right, they have to be on another level. They have to maintain that presence and that popularity. They need to drive this narrative that, like, hey, we are the only team to do it this far this yet. So they really are showing and putting respect on their names. And Supernova, Nova Esports will be the KWC third place team. And I mean, looking at there, Hailang is just stressed about this matchup. I mean, it's after that 6-minute like wipe down, I'd be looking like that too.
Yeah, it was absolutely rough. I mean, they didn't really have any openings. Yes, they started off strong. They had a great first blood. They turned it into the first tyrant of the game. But then Nova Esports were just like the clean, calculated movements, finding the pickoffs, getting in and out, finding 90. He has to just barely just limp away on those moments. And Twisted Minds really had no openings in this game.
They didn't. I mean, they really were looking for them, obviously, especially with this Game 3 draft as well. We see more of a return to Twisted Minds as a normal draft, right? The Orgren, the Yixing, the Lung, the Sakir, and the Guan Yu. I mean, we didn't really get that Lian Po come through here for City Boy, which has been one of his most performed picks. But when you look at that draft, they needed sustainability. They needed the healing, not the tank.
Yeah, not at that moment. So questions in the draft, obviously they could have done better, but it was more about the execution, especially if we're looking at Game 1 and that Schwantz pick. But let's see what the players have to think about that one. Let's see what Mara has to say here.
And now we're here with Xuan. Congratulations, the pride of Malaysia. You have done incredible in this competition. From start to finish, how much do you think your team has grown? What are you most proud of?
就是成长量。
对对对。
我觉得最大的成长就是我们